If it is in Pakistan, it will definitely work. They only hand-roll a scrapped half shaft into accessories. The 20-ton hydraulic jack in front of us accidentally bears a weight of 30 tons, which causes the downward pressure of the top cap to crack the piston. When the piston is completely stuck and cannot be stretched normally, the master first loosens the compression nut in front of the pipe so that the jack can be completely disassembled. After the master's very careful inspection, the damaged position is mainly concentrated in the top cap. As for the inside of the jack, there is no damage. Obviously, the hollow piston cannot be repaired. In order to make the jack still bear 20 tons of weight, the master is ready to use the high-hardness explosion half shaft to reproduce the damaged piston rod of the jack. After the master skillfully marks the length, because the explosion shaft rod not only has a slight deformation, but also the overall outer diameter is different from the piston rod. The shaft rod must be simply cut first, and all the sleeves on the surface are removed. When the outer diameter data of the two are quite different, the force of the turning tool can correct the deformation of the shaft. In order to avoid the gap between the live picking feeling and the oil cylinder being too large, the master also needs to ensure that the outer diameter of the shaft cutting is completely consistent. Then use steel paper to measure the length outside the oil seal to facilitate the subsequent processing of the slot at the tail. After the outer diameter of the shaft meets the use requirements, the head needs to be cut into the top cap. The shaft with the center needs to be drilled through the drill. The original top cap can still be used after the depth of the hole is completely consistent with the original one. The original top cap has a larger protruding outer diameter to make the two fit together perfectly. It is necessary to cut and expand it through the inner hole knife to remove the burrs left by the drill bit and make the inner wall smoother and flatter. After the master confirms the data of the hole mirror, Kyan has higher requirements for the smoothness of the piston. After the surface is cut twice by the Rowan knife, it is necessary to grind with the sanding disc of the grinding machine. All the burrs on the surface can be removed. After the master simply polished it 20 times, he used a precise outer diameter micrometer for comparison. The data error before and after polishing was large. The oil seal needs to be installed on the part. The size of the oil seal is fixed. Therefore, the master also repeatedly measured during processing. The oil seal is not well sealed due to excessive cutting. After the bottom groove is processed and qualified, it can be cut off at the mark with a slot cutter. Because their small slot cutter is not long enough and cannot be completely cut into the center, it needs to be finished with an angle grinder. After the edge is cut out of the slot, the replica piston feeling is successfully separated from the elbow feeling because their Kyan has never been disassembled for maintenance. If there is a lot of oil stains, the master must use a wire brush and diesel to brush it. It can prevent the oil sludge stains from blocking the oil channel and completely remove the rust on the surface. Long-term use causes the paint of the jack to fall off. In order to avoid further rust in the future, the master must apply a layer of rust inhibitor on the surface. It can only improve the overall appearance and isolate the air to prevent oxidation and rust because the original oil seal is cracked and deformed. The repair shop also directly replaced a new set of them. When fitting with the cylinder 309, the sealing effect of the Kyan just left the factory. Although the Kyan appearance is not large, the internal structure is small and complex. After the master completely tightened the compression nut in order to save the cost of use, we also use the hydraulic oil after secondary filtration. Although the reused hydraulic oil has turned black, as long as there is no impurity inside, it will not affect the normal operation of the Kyan. Then the Kyan was repaired using the scrapped half shaft. What do you think of the Pakistani master's skills?